All right, so we're going to do just a couple more practice problems to help us with our practice buddy today, okay? So the first one we're going to look at says to write an expression to show the calculations you could use to determine the total area of the rectangles. All right, so we know that area is base times height. So I know I have a base of 18 and a height of 22. Okay, but I have 3 rectangles. So I know in my equation, I'm going to have 18 times 22 and then something with 3. So since we have 3 and we want to find the total, we're going to multiply. So I'm going to have 18 times 22 times 3. All right, and so with our parentheses, there's something in particular that we want to start with, and that's going to be our 18 times 22. So once we find what 18 times 22 is, that we're going to multiply that by 3, and that is going to give us the total area of all 3 rectangles together. All right. So we're going to move on to question 12. So question 12 says that 14 students bought an easel for $129 and a set of canvases for $46. Tax was $10.50. They shared the cost equally. Write an expression to show how you could calculate the amount each student paid. All right, so we had 129, 46, and 10.50. So we want to know the total that was paid. And so all we have to do with these 3 numbers is just add them. So 129, 46, and 10.50. Okay, so that is going to give us the total amount of money that was spent, but we have to look back and tell them the amount each student paid. And each student is paying an equal amount. And we know that there are 14 students, so we want to add the whole costs together. And then to split it evenly, we are going to divide by the number of students. And that's how we would solve that problem. All right, the last problem goes back to when you guys talked about volume. So a shed is shaped like a rectangular prism. The width is 8 yards. The height is 4 yards. The volume is 288 yards squared. Find the length. All right, so if you remember back, I believe it was a couple topics ago, you guys worked on volume. So to help us out, we want to know what our formula is for volume. So volume equals length times width times height. All right, this problem, guys, is so simple. All we are going to do is just plug in the numbers. So my width is 8. Plug in my 8. My height is 4, right there. My volume is 288. And then I am trying to find my length. All right, so the first thing that we are going to do is we have to multiply 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is going to give us 32. And that's going to give us length times 32 equals 288. All right, so the next thing that we are going to do is I need to get this L alone. So I'm going to do the opposite. So I have a multiplication right here to this 32. So the opposite of multiplication would be division. So I'm going to divide by 32. And if I do it to this side, I have to do it to the other side. So to get that L alone, I divide by 32 on both sides. So now let's divide by 32. All right. So now let's see. 32 cannot go into 2. 32 cannot go into 28. So we're just going to have to pick a random number and multiply it by 32 or add 32 till we get to 288. So I'm going to start with 5 just to see where we get. 32 times 5. Let's see. So that gives me 10, 15, 16, 160. Whoa, way off. All right, let's bump up our number. Let's try 7. 32 times 7. Let's see. 7 times 2 gives me 14. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus that 1 would give me 22. Okay, I'm getting a little closer. I know if I were to add one more 32, I still wouldn't be close enough. Let's try 9. Let's take 32 times 9. All right. 9 times 2 gives me 18. 9 times 3 gives me 27. Plus the 1 is 28. We got it. All right. So 288 divided by 32 gives you 9. So that means the length is 9 yards. Remember your units. And that's how we'd solve it. So just plug in your numbers and solve from there.